Hello, my Unraveled friends. I'm going to try something new. We're going to have a little Unraveled Quickie. Yeah, you heard me. You heard me. I just want to, just because I like talking to you guys so much about all these cases that fascinate me, there should be a couple little short ones throughout the week. Bro, if I see one more gnat in my house, I swear to God, I cannot wait for 30-degree weather where these fuckers cannot survive. Anyway, also excuse my skin. I'm a little red and inflamed today. You guys will be fine with that, right, though? We're good. You still love me because I love you. All right. I guess I should say welcome back to Tiff Unraveled. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm so happy to have you. I am Tiff. I want you guys to picture this. It's Christmas Eve. It's 1997. Can you imagine 1997 right now? I was only 12, but take me back. Snow is dusting the rooftops in North Philadelphia. And inside this cozy little home, the air hums with joy. Family is gathered, music is playing, and there's a brand new life, 10 days old. This is where Delimar Vera, the baby girl of Luz Cuevas and Pedro Vera, entered the world. And then smoke, flames, chaos. By morning, the house was a shell. A shell. There was nothing left. Firefighters scoured the wreckage of this home. No sign of this 10-day-old infant anywhere. No bones, no ashes. The medical examiner's verdict? She was completely consumed by the fire. That's a quote. Case closed. Tragic accident, grieving family. Everyone moves on, right? No, they do not. Maybe everyone except for one person, baby girl's mother, Luz. Luz stood outside the ruins of that home and she said with very quiet certainty, "My baby is alive." And she refused to let go. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. It is a very true story of a little baby girl named Delimar Vera, the baby who rose from the ashes, not as a ghost, but as a miracle waiting to be found. Welcome to my first Unraveled Quickie. Today, the baby who rose from the ashes. Let's unravel. I forgot that for my laptop, because I have a microphone at my desk set up, but for my laptop, I don't have one. So I got this super cute little free pink microphone. I would rub it, but you guys would hear it. But it's so adorable. We're going to see if it helps with the sound on the laptop. This might be terrible. Who knows? We'll find out. Okay. December 24th, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, right? 97. A family celebration turns to pure horror when a fire erupts in Luz and Pedro's home. Everyone gets out, so it's believed, except for 10-day-old Delimar, who was asleep in her crib at the time of the fire. Firefighters, again, they go in, they find nothing. They find no remains, they find no bones, they find no ashes. After all, fire at that intensity, they say, can consume tissue. Officials call it a case of faulty wiring, accident, case closed, closure given. And not for Miss Luz. Miss Luz disagrees. She says she heard her baby crying during that fire. She saw her moving. She tried to run into the house, but someone pulled her back. Who pulled her back? Well, that would be a woman named Carolyn Correa. She was a neighbor. She was a friend. She was a familiar face in their circle. Correa held her back from going back into the fire to rescue her daughter, she says, claiming, "She's gone, Luz. You can't save her." And just like that, that's the first red flag fluttering in the wind. Because I'm sorry, nobody, I would say nobody would try to talk me out of running in after my babies. Maybe somebody would. Maybe I'm rethinking that. But I don't think so. I don't think anyone who knows me as a mother would tell me that I wasn't going to get back into my house to get my kids. There's no fucking way. The fact that she even tried, red flag. So fast forward to, I don't know, like a little bit of modern storytelling. Remember that game Clue, right? Remember how when you play that game, like the killer is never anyone that you would suspect. Yeah. It's your nice aunt, or it's the loyal butler. It's the sweet neighbor. That's the twist here. The person closest to you becomes the architect of your pain and suffering in these cases. Luz knew something wasn't right. She called her daughter's crib haunted. She lit candles. She waited. And for 6 long years, she refused to accept this official narrative. While the world detailed it a tragedy, Luz called it kidnapping. Fast forward to 2004. Delimar would have been 6 had she lived. Luz attends a family birthday party, not knowing that fate is about to deliver a punch straight to her gut. And it was at this party that Luz sees her, a little girl across the room with dark hair, big eyes, and then a smile. That smile, felt it in her chest. And I know that people are going to say the baby was just an infant. Like you could, a mother knows. A mother knows. She felt it. She felt it in her blood. She felt it with every fiber of her being. She later described it as blood calling. And it wasn't just a look, there was a dimple, there was this sparkle. And then when she got closer, she saw a distinct birthmark behind this girl's ear. But the real shock came when she hugged this little girl. Luz said she could smell it. Smoke. Not cigarette smoke, not cooking residue, but this faint scent, like something that clings to a fabric. The same scent that she had noticed on her newborn daughter's clothes after the fire. And this was 6 years later. This was 6 years later. Most of us, of course, will chalk it up to like wishful thinking, right? A deja vu, a grieving mind that begins to play tricks. But Luz, she'd been playing this mental movie for about 6 years now, and she knew every frame of it. And this was real. She pulled a few strands of the girl's hair, claiming that they were stuck in her dress, and she marched straight to Philadelphia police. I'm talking no hesitation, no second guessing, none of that. She said, test this. I want a DNA test right now. And the police, of course, they're like, what? Whatever. They were skeptical. They were dismissive. Ma'am, your baby died in a fire 6 years ago. No body was found. This is delusional. Luz did not budge. She badgered. She pled. And she waited. She would not be ignored. And then, finally, someone actually listened. Someone at the Philadelphia Police Department took that DNA sample and they ran it. And guess what? Guess what, you guys? DNA results came back. Match confirmed. The little girl, who was then known as Aaliyah, was Delimar Vera. Not dead, not ashes, very much alive. And not only that, she had been living just 15 miles away in New Jersey, being raised by, anyone want to guess? Drumroll, Carolyn Correa. The woman, the one who had held Luz back from going back inside the home during the fire, the one who said, let it go, Luz, she's gone. That one. That woman had Luz's baby all along. The truth, when it unfolded, was chilling. Investigators found that Correa had actually set the fire herself. She set the fire herself deliberately, intentionally, a very calculated move on her part. Start the fire, create the chaos, slip into the house during the confusion, take the baby from her crib, and vanish into the night. She drove across state lines, smuggled Delimar into New Jersey, changed her name to Aaliyah, raised her as her own daughter. But why? Why? And what kind of fucking person does this? Correa had a history. She had a history. She'd repeatedly lied about being pregnant, apparently telling friends and even hospitals that she was expecting. And at the time of the fire, she was facing criminal charges for theft and arson at her job at a pharmacy. Drugs? I don't know. Imagine, instead of prison, she could just take a baby. Right. But the real gut punch, Correa was not some stranger. She wasn't a nanny. She wasn't a random predator. She was family to them, according to Luz. Distantly related, actually, to Delimar's father. This means that Luz did not just lose her child in a fire. She was betrayed by someone that she invited multiple times into her home, someone that she trusted, someone that she allowed into her very own circle. And then just when it couldn't get darker, the suspicion deepened. Luz believed that there was more than one person involved here. She never believed that Pedro had accepted Delimar as his child. No father actually was listed on the birth certificate of Delimar. And after the fire, their relationship just kind of fell apart. And while Pedro denies any involvement and was never charged, to be clear, the question lingers: was Correa's crime committed alone? That is a question that Luz still has. Or was it a plan hatched between two people who saw tragedy as an opportunity? One, an opportunity to have a daughter and start a new life, and the other to not have a daughter that he never believed was his in the first place and escape responsibility for her. We may never actually know the answer to that question, but one thing is certain: the woman who raised Delimar didn't just steal a baby, she stole 6 years from these two human beings. Most stories end here. Mother finds daughter, they embrace, the music swells, the credits roll. But Delimar's story was actually just beginning. Imagine being 6 years old. Your name is Aaliyah. You go to school. You play with your siblings. You live your life. And then boom, someone says, actually, you were kidnapped, and that woman there, that's not your mom. She's a criminal, and she set a fire to your house when you were an infant and stole you as a baby. And then all of a sudden, you're not Aaliyah anymore. You're Delimar, which Delimar, now an adult, actually reflected on this moment in 2024 in an interview with The Guardian. She said, quote, "I hated Delimar at the beginning. What is that? Delimar? Delaware? People would call me and I wouldn't look at them. I wanted my old name," unquote. Her real mother didn't speak English. Delimar didn't speak Spanish. There was a language barrier. And not just the language barrier, but this lifetime of lies kind of separated them. She clung to photos of her old life on a beach with siblings that she thought were hers. She kept thinking to herself, like, it's okay, I'm going back. But she didn't go back. And there was also apparently no help for Delimar. There was no therapy, there was no support, and no one checked in on her and said, hey, babe, are you okay? Are you okay? The media, of course, is going to paint it as a happily ever after. Of course, we're happy that this mother is reunited with her long lost daughter. It's a Disney movie. But Delimar says that, quote, "The public response was, let's take photos, let's make a movie." But there was no actual support for her, and no therapy, and no resources. And over time, that trauma grew, and she rebelled. She left home when she was 15. She was in a group home. She worked cash jobs like restaurants or delivering newspapers. She slipped into an abusive relationship, lived in one of Philadelphia's toughest neighborhoods. She put it bluntly, quote, "My boyfriend would go to the corner shop with a gun on his hips. It's like the wild, wild west." And he was crazy. But at 20, something clicked. She had had enough. Something shifted, she said. "I got sick of feeling sorry for myself, of being a victim. You have to accept that and do better." She grabbed her things. She drove away in a U-Haul. She left it all behind and she rebuilt. So, where is Delimar now? She's married. She lives in Philadelphia. She works from home. She has a husband named Isaiah. She has an 11-year-old stepson. She has a cat and she has a puppy. And her name, as an adult, she says, "I love my name. I haven't met another Delimar ever," she says. She also sees her mother loses strength, not just for finding her, but for raising her after. Quote, "She taught me to be so strong, how to be independent. We have the same laugh. We have the same sense of humor. When I show a little attitude to my husband, I always say, blame my mother. I get it from my mom." She took part in a documentary titled Back from the Dead, Who Kidnapped Me, also referred to as The Hand That Robbed the Cradle, to come to terms with her past. And it led to an unexpected grace for Delimar, reconnecting with Antoinette, a relative of Correa's, who had helped care for her back then. And now they're back in touch via a family WhatsApp group. Imagine that. Imagine that. This has had to have been so fucking difficult for her. And Correa? What happened to Correa? Well, she was convicted of kidnapping and arson. She was sentenced to between 9 and 30 years, but she has since been released. Does Delimar forgive her? That's her journey. But the story isn't just about kidnapping, it's also about Luz, who believed when no one else did her daughter was out there. It's about a mother's intuition that just refused to die. It is about a child who survived fire, who survived betrayal, who survived lies, and who survived trauma and still emerged beautiful and strong. This isn't just a who done it, it's who believed. And it reminds us that sometimes the truth isn't always buried in the shadows. Sometimes it's literally hiding in plain sight. All it takes is someone who refuses to give up. So, the next time the world says to you, my loves, move on, accept it. That's just how it is. Ask yourself, what if Luz had listened to that? She didn't. She waited 6 years. She trusted her gut and she dragged that truth into light. That is the power of a mother's love right there. So that was our quickie. Thanks for hanging out with me. And until I see you again later this week, please, please, please stay safe. Keep asking questions. How can I do my outro with the mic in my hand? All right, let's try. Stay safe, keep asking questions, and keep unraveling. Love you.